Hey guys, welcome to my channel and Happy New Year. So today's video is going to be a thrift flip video. I'm just like everyone else at the first of the year. I want to get organized. And my thrift stash is getting out of control. I'm going to show you guys my hoard, what we're working with. I've had some of these things for a year. So we're going to try to work through these at the first of the year so I can get them in my booth, get them sold so I can do more thrift store shopping and showing you guys what I'm finding to buy and flip for a profit. So let's go ahead and get started. This is what we're working with, guys. I've got stuff everywhere that I need to work through. Mostly this mess down here has got to go. I don't even know what's down there. I've just been stuffing things. So that's part of my goal, is to get some of this stuff worked through and in the booth so I can go shopping more. There's some more pictures there. I've also got some stuff over here. And then I have this huge stash of furniture to work through. So there's lots to do. Let's go ahead and get started with the thrift flips. For my first makeovers, I wanted to give away some plants to a few people. And I had these 3 just random containers that I got at thrift stores for $1 or less each. So I'm going to make them over kind of similar for all 3. First thing I'm going to do is give them all 2 coats of a black chalk paint. This is Dixie Belle Midnight Sky, but ink by Waverly is almost exactly the same and works great. Once the 2 coats have completely dried on everything, I'm going to clean up all the edges with just a baby wipe and get all the excess paint off of places where I don't want it. I'm only painting the outsides of these because there is going to be live plants in them. Once the paint is completely dry and I've got them all cleaned up, I'm going to give them a top coat. This is a clear glossy top coat. I prefer matte, but I'm still trying to use up this that I have, and it will be fine for these succulent containers. So I'm just going to give everything one even coat of the sealer. And then on the container that was a copper color, I'm going to come back with my copper colored rub and buff, and I'm just going to shine up the dull edges and also distress the whole thing with the rub and buff. Just make it look like, you know, an old copper, something that has been painted black and the copper's wearing back through on it. To finish these containers off, I went through all my transfer scraps. I had little pieces and parts. This is part of the traditional pots transfer. I'm going to put some French wording on one side and then another part of it on the other. They have this white transfer that I love to do on black. If you haven't ever done a transfer before, it's super easy. You just take the white backing off and then you rub your image onto your project with the little plastic scraper thing that comes with it. After I have the transfers on, I am going to put another coat of sealer over the top of the transfers. Being that these are going to have plants in them and the soil inside is going to get wet, I didn't want it to damage the transfers any. For this little one, I'm going to use some scraps from the Ephemeral Melange book. Just what a couple of them that would fit. I tried to pick some with the same colors. And for the last one, I am going to use this bee from the Brocante booklet, and then also on the back side I'm going to put a mushroom from the Whispering Willow transfer pack. One thing that I loved about doing thrift store makeovers is how you can just take any old thing that is outdated or not your style, and you can completely turn it around very easily with just a little bit of time and a little bit of effort. Everybody I gave these to love them, and now they have something handmade that you can't find in any store. For this makeover, I bought these horses, I'm going to say about 6 months ago. They're large, they're resin, they're very majestic, but the paint job on them was horrible. So the first thing I'm going to do is give them both 2.5 coats of a white chalk paint. This was not a quick paint. There was lots of cracks and crevices and underneath and everything, but I just took my time and got them both covered really well. Once the white paint was dry, I came back with a gray paint. This is Gravel Road by Dixie Belle, and I just painted the saddle, the stirrups, the bridle, everything that wasn't a horse's body with this gray paint. After I got done with the gray paint and they had dried, I really just didn't like the stark contrast different. So I took the same white paint and with a very dry brush, I just went over the gray to kind of mute it a little bit and make it more cohesive with the white on the horse. And I didn't plan on doing this, but I'm so glad that I did because I love the way that it turned out. I have a couple more steps. First of all, for any animal, I cannot stand to paint over the eyes and not make them seen. So I took some of the gray paint and put his eyes back on. And then I took some silver rub and buff and I rubbed the little bells or tassels or whatever they are on the horse. And turned out it looked almost just like the gray that I whitewashed over, but with a little bit more shimmer. Know that these are going to sell so fast. First of all, anything horses sells really well, and these are absolutely beautiful. For the last makeover in today's video, I found this child's rocker at a yard sale for $2. It's been painted several times, but someone had already sanded it down for me. All I did was clean it up. I'm going to do something with the 10-minute Amazing Castings resin. I've used resin a lot, but this is my first try with the quick setting. So you do the same thing. You mix half of A and half of B together and stir them really well. I stirred this for an entire minute, and then I just poured it in the molds that I wanted to use. And sure enough, within just a few minutes, I could see that it was setting up. I do have to say that in my experience, the resin that takes 24 hours to cure cures much harder than this 10-minute resin. Even the molds that I poured several days ago are still a little bit pliable with this resin, but plenty strong enough to paint or do any project with. This was just after a few minutes, and this turns white when it's curing. And there was just a couple of places in the chair that needed just a little bit of structural attention, so I put a couple of nails in it. And then I am going to take my resin castings and glue them onto the chair just to give them a little bit of an upgrade and a little bit of detail. I'm using a clear Gorilla Glue for this and just spreading it along the back of the mold. And I am the queen of eyeing the center of things. Sometimes it works out great, sometimes not so much, but I do recommend taking a tape measure and measuring your sides. I think I got this one pretty close, and then I put a smaller one on the bottom. I forgot to mention that these molds are the lock and key mold. I just thought that they went really good with this chair. I turned it upside down, hopefully to keep them from moving while the glue set up, and I began painting. I am using Terra Clay Paint by Dixie Belle in the color Blue Moon for this chair. I've had this paint a while and I haven't had a chance to use it yet, so I thought this was the perfect project to try it out on. This is a clay paint. It is very matte. If you don't like the matte look, I do not suggest it, but the color is absolutely beautiful, and I was able to get the whole thing covered really well in just 2 coats. As you can see, I have lots of company painting tonight. School's out for the holidays, and everybody was just kind of hanging out with me while I did this project. Mason's even going to give you a quick view of our new basement kitty. That is Judy, and I'm sure you guys will be seeing much more of her. She's just the sweetest thing, and we are all in love. Once the paint is dry, I am going to seal this in with a Minwax finishing wax. I love the way this stuff smells, and it really is very durable. It does darken up your paint, but once it dries, it lightens back up. For the final step of this project, I'm going to take a little bit of the DIY white wax, and I am just going to go over the molds just to bring out some of the detail in them, and then I'm going to wipe it back with a cloth, and that is done. Look how sweet this little chair turned out. I know that someone is going to love it for their child's room. That is all for today's makeovers. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and come back next week where we're going to continue tackling my thrift hoard. I'll see y'all again next week. Don't forget to like this video and leave a comment what was your favorite of my 3 flips today. See y'all next week.